All right, we've been having problems with the LS lately, all to do with the battery. There seems to be a drain somewhere, a parasitic drain, however you say that. Right? There's a parasite in here somewhere. So the first thing you need to know is that I have charged the battery back up. The battery was too low to start the tractor, and therefore it's been on charge now for 4 or 5 hours. We're going to pull it off the charger. We're going to go ahead and I'll show you what you need to do next with that voltmeter. So let's get on that real quick. Another day. In order to do a test on a parasitic draw, you're going to need this type of meter. If you'll notice right here, it has an A for amperage. You'll need to move your positive lead to that lead. And then once you've moved this red into the amperage location, you should have a location on here that says amperage for DC. That would be the straight line. So you would just go straight over to the DC line. Now this one's already set up to an auto mode, so it will read our parasitic drain just the way I have it set up right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this negative lead off here real quick. Just going to take it off the terminal and like that. Now I don't know if you can hear that or not, because you can't see it, but there is a spark there, and it's not a very big spark, but there is a spark there. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the red lead here and I'm going to put it underneath here, and we're going to hook it up like this. Then what we're going to do is I've got a little clamp here, and I'm just going to clamp this to that lead. Now this particular meter that I'm using has an auto range on it, so you're supposed to set that amperage range, I believe, all the way to its highest setting. I don't normally have to do that with an auto range. I just put it on there, and it already is telling me that I have quite a bit of pull drain on this battery. So basically I have 0.155 amps being drawn right now. I should be showing very little to nothing. If anything, it might be a 0.002 or a 0.005, but that should be about the tops I should see. But I'm seeing 0.155. That's too much. Let's find out what's causing that. I got to jump up in the cab, and what we're going to start doing is pulling fuses. And when this drops, we'll know at least the circuit that it's in. We'll narrow our search way down from just looking at every single wire, checking to see what is on and so forth. I've already done all that, and I'm not finding anything. We need to find this drain. There's my meter sitting right there. It still says 0.153. Back over here on the LS on the passenger side is your fuse box. And we're just going to start pulling fuses. It's not that one. All right, so none of these have made a change so far. That means we're probably going to get under the dash, which is where I really did not want to go. Things that are easy, that are over here on this fuse panel, it's none of them. Oh no. Let me open up the dash here so we can start pulling those fuses. All right, so another location that you need to be looking at on your fuses is going to be underneath the steering column down here by the brake pads. You see those? There's fuses right here. You need to pull these. There's a cover that comes off of here. You need to take that off. You can check these fuses here next. I'm having to go in and out, guys, so just be patient. Oh no, I just dropped that fuse down in there. I'll get that fuse in a minute. This is the ECU right here. Let's see what we got. Oh, that was it. ECU. All right. we have found the culprit. Unfortunately, it's the ECU. I have a feeling this tractor's going back to the shop. There's something on with the ECU. It's time for me to stop. I'm gonna have to take this to the dealer and let them deal with it. Reason is because this tractor is under warranty. All right, it's been a couple of days since I've been able to get out here. What I did is I unplugged the actual ground side of the battery and just left it unhooked for the time being. Today we're going to put a switch on it just to keep the battery from draining. That means every time, until I can take this to the shop, every time I get in and out of this tractor, I'm going to have to switch off the switch. It goes on the ground side. This is going to be very important. Don't put these switches on the positive side. That's not where they go. They go on the negative side. Put the switch on the negative side, and that way we can all we're doing is we're taking the ground away from the battery. That's all we're doing. And once we've done that, you'll cut that power and you won't have that drain for now. So let me get this hood opened up. All right, I want you to see the parasitic drain. Once I touch the ground side, I've got one side on the ground wire, and the other side's going to go on the battery. You should see it go up. Right now may drop here in just a moment, and the reason it drops is because once I touch this, the ECU lit up, and so we'll have to wait just a second and the ECU should drop off. All right, so what that is the ECU has now gone to sleep, and that's too much parasitic draw all the way around. So we know it's the ECU because we've already pulled those fuses. And so now what I'm going to do is go ahead and put the switch on here. Let me show you what this switch looks like and how this switch works. So it's very basic. This is this little turn knob right here. What it is there's brass here and brass here. And once you screw this all the way down, you're making a 100% connection now to this here. And then once you unscrew it just a little bit, it disconnects. There's a bushing that sits in between here. I'll call it a bushing. It's a nylon bushing. It goes between the actual two parts. This is the two parts. It goes between those two parts, and this does not make a connection until I screw this all the way down and tighten it up a little bit. So when you're ready to turn it off, you just unscrew it a half a turn or a turn, and it should be disabled. So basically it goes like that, and then we'll tighten this up. Now don't go crazy, you'll break this. You just want it tight. You want it snug, see it doesn't move. And then we're going to put the ground on here like this. All right, so if you look here, I go to here, I have basically 0 volts. It's 0.01 is what it is right now. But if I go to the battery, I have 12.76. Okay, so there you go. That's the voltage right there, battery. And when I close the switch, now I've taken that switch and closed it. Now I should have 12 volts here. There it is, your 12.77. So just to simplify things, a parasitic draw is basically, layman terms, everything's supposed to be off, but yet I'm getting a draw on the battery. With all the computers and a lot of this stuff nowadays, there is always going to be a little bit of a parasitic draw on the battery, but not as much as that I have today. And so therefore, because of that, and because we've narrowed it down to the ECU, I'm going to have to take it to the shop and have them look at it. And so if you leave your tractor parked for several days for any reason, you come out and you check and you get in it and it won't start, especially these newer tractors with all this computers and gizmos on them, you may have this problem. So this is how you can check it real quick, and then you'll know at least where to start. I appreciate it. Let's see what happens over the next few days, and let's get this thing to the shop.